and welcome to ETAUTO. Today we have a very special guest with us, the man who saw Indian automobile industry crawl, walk and now run. Yes, the man himself, Mr. R.C. Bhargava. Welcome to ETAUTO.
Thank you.
Entire market, entire industry is really, worried about. How do you look at this move of demonetization, and how does it impact auto industry specific and overall economy?
See, I am very much in favor of demonetization. But demonetization, as I understand also from the Prime Minister, as the first step towards ridding the Indian economy of the cancer of black money and all that goes with black money, the corruption, the ostentatious consumption, inflation, terrorist activities, all of that goes with black money, getting rid of that. I think the demonetization is the first step. But if we move towards a largely cashless, digitized system of working, and the GST will also assist in making that happen, then I think we will have a much quicker progress towards becoming the economic super power and the factory of the world that we hope to become.
There has been some, fall in demand because of this. Do you think it will have prolonged effect on automobile industry?
No, I think if what we are planning or the Prime Minister is planning in terms of moving towards cashless and corruption-free economy, if that happens, it will be good for the economy and it will be very good, therefore, for the car industry. There may be a temporary setback for the industry, but even that, I think, will be short-term, if at all. But that, I think, is a necessary step towards moving to a much better growth trajectory in the future.
You were just talking about how we can make it more effective, cashless economy. Can you put a light once again on what?
See, on the cashless economy, I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
One is that we should go step by step. Don't try and do it all over the country in one step, but start with bigger towns, then go to the next range of towns, then the next range of towns, so that people get time to prepare, open bank accounts, get credit cards or debit cards, join Paytm or any such platform, and have all of that in place in a step-by-step manner, because infrastructure resources in India are not so large that we can do it all over in one step. The second thing is the process has to be made user-friendly and something which people will have confidence in, because one of the reasons people don't use internet banking or credit cards or such things is because they are afraid of fraud, or they don't say, how will I remember the PIN number or the password? People get frightened of these technology things. So my suggestion is that we should use a fingerprint authentication for all digital transactions. Whether you're using a debit card or a credit card or any other authentication for payments or receipt of money, just use a fingerprint. Fingerprint readers are easy to get, not expensive. I think we should, the government could even subsidize their prices so that they spread rapidly. And that's why I said go step by step. And use those so that even if the person is not literate, he understands that fingerprints can't be replicated. It's only your fingerprint which is unique.
That will ultimately provide
So it provides lots of confidence, becomes simpler, fraud becomes almost impossible. And I think the confidence level and the simplicity of use will make it spread.
This will also help more people joining in digital
Absolutely.
world. That is a really wonderful idea.
And along with that, the charges for use of a debit card, not a credit card, debit card, need to come down substantially. There is no bank money involvement in it. It's only a transaction cost.
Yeah.
And if the digital economy and use of credit card grows, the cost of transaction will come down sharply. So I think if they fix some fixed amount per transaction for digital card use, some small amount, then I think the spread will also be faster. Today this 1% is exorbitant.
Yeah, that is really high. But if we implement this and the larger net is created, of course, it will come down.
That's right.
So coming back to our core business, that is automobile, and we are again in the month of November, and December is coming up. This is the month when we have a lot of hue cry. We have already seen a lot of pollution in cities like Delhi and all. We have been crying about it, and every time people start pointing towards diesel, and we have seen there has been two negative against diesel vehicles in India. One, that the prices between diesel and petrol has narrowed down. Secondly, almost people are demonizing diesel despite a lot of technological changes that has happened that has made it cleaner. Do you think that really Indian manufacturers should do away with their diesel cars in India, or do you see, how do you look at it, the ratio between diesel and petrol cars going forward?
See, I think a lot of public perception on this subject is based on wrong information or lack of information, and various agencies who should have known better not studying the facts before they made their recommendations or views known about what they think is pollution. First, when you come to vehicles, there are three distinct categories of vehicles: commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles, two-wheelers. All of them have their different pollution levels. So we are basically, at least I am basically concerned with the cars. But I'll add that commercial vehicles have older technology than cars. Cars even today are at Euro 4. Commercial vehicles are Euro 2, Euro 1 is even flying, somewhere maybe Euro 3 has come, very far behind it. So pollution from cars is very different. The two-wheelers, which is by far the largest number of vehicles in the country, have old technology. They are not using fuel injection even, by and large.
But the car technology has...
So the Kanpur IIT study shows that in the NCR area, all passenger cars, including diesel passenger cars, contribute only 2% of the PM 2.5. Against this 2%, two-wheelers contribute 6.6%. More than 3 times of all cars, including diesel cars. Yes. Trucks, commercial vehicles are some 9.2%. So to keep blaming cars is a deliberate attempt by some sections of people to adopt a populist approach, because they can't attack two-wheelers because then people will not listen to them.
Yeah.
They can't attack commercial vehicles because all the food supplies and everything comes in those commercial vehicles. So who is the easy target? Cars. Diesel cars now are Euro 4. They will become Euro 6 by 2020. They will be as clean as any car anywhere in the world then. People don't understand that pollution is not only what Delhi has, which is all dust, not car caused. It's caused by other things. So this whole business attacking cars is not going to have any significant measurable difference to the pollution in Delhi. Nothing.
Yeah.
The issue remains that after Euro 6, the impact will be even less. But what about the other things which are happening? Who's looking at making sure that this PM 2.5 doesn't continue to grow with all this burning of crops, fireworks now.
Construction.
Sale of fireworks has been banned. Nothing stops people going across and getting a firework from a neighboring university.
Yeah.
There will be things like it happened for alcohol. People set up things just outside the periphery.
So what about bursting? There is no ban on bursting, but
Nothing.
only
Exactly.
selling in
Exactly.
Delhi and NCR. Of course, there's a loophole in there. So going forward, how do you see it? Currently, we see the diesel vehicle, on a decline. Do you see that trend to continue, or after 2020, you see there will be a spike?
We will need diesel vehicles for another reason which people don't understand and think about at the moment. Global warming requires all countries, and we are a contributory to that international agreement, to reduce CO2.
Yeah.
CO2 reduction from automobiles
Can come from
requires diesel vehicles because diesel engines have a much lower CO2
compared to gasoline.
compared to gasoline.
Yeah.
So if you do away with diesel, it will be very difficult to meet the norms of CO2.
So my question is once again, current ratio whereas when you see petrol versus diesel vehicle is almost going towards 50-50. Do you think it is going further down?
I think it will go down a little bit. Diesel may come down to around 40% or something.
In next 1 or 2 years. After 2020, do you see this changing, or
See, after 2020,
BS6
the
is there?
price
Because
of diesel cars will increase further.
okay,
And the smaller diesel cars actually will go out of production.
okay,
Because if it's a diesel car costing 5 lakhs today,
yeah,
and then you do Euro 6, it'll add another lakh plus on that.
Almost
While the
6
equivalent petrol car will still be about 4 lakhs.
yeah.
So 4 versus 6, people will not buy the 6
So diesel will further go down. Means
on the small cars. It will remain on the big cars.
okay. But small car. But the market is also maturing. They are moving towards bigger cars.
Not really. I mean, they're moving towards more expensive cars,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
not towards bigger cars.
Okay.
Because the
Expensive
cars
feature
which are still within this compact definition are still over 70%.
So, in India, we do not have much of electric vehicles. We do not have hybrids. We see our neighbor, China, where they have been able to bring in low-cost electric vehicles, which is catching up very fast. What kind of, market scenarios see in India? Do you think that this can happen in coming days, and how long it is going to
See,
take?
I am not aware how many electric vehicles are sold in China at the moment. The problem in India is that the bulk of the car users park their cars on the roadside. They do not have parking space in terms of a garage or a driveway of their own. They have to park it on the roadside. Problem comes in, how do you charge the electric vehicle? There is no infrastructure available. If I had a garage or I had a driveway, I could have a power point and plug in my car for charging. But if I'm on the roadside and my place changes every day, where do I charge the car? So for that reason, the lack of infrastructure, even if the cost comes down, government subsidizes electric cars even in India substantially. It doesn't sell because people don't find it convenient to own. Because if you can't charge it, how do you use it?
So where will you go to charge?
Where will you go to charge it?
So what is the ultimate answer for India?
Hybrids.
Hybrids.
I think we have to work on reducing the cost of hybrid cars.
So is Maruti ready for these kind of changes? Because you are the market reader.
Suzuki is working very hard on trying to see how to bring down the cost of hybrid. We already have a low-cost, mild hybrid. Now that has to be scaled up to get better fuel economy. Because the purpose of an electric car or a hybrid car is to reduce emissions,
Yeah, that's
improve fuel consumption. Both go together. And that can be done by a hybrid also.
so. So in going forward, how many hybrid cars do you expect to sell? What percentage? Because you are the market driver. If you start, everybody will follow.
Yeah, just now, as I said, we have only the mild hybrid. But
So-
once we get better technology,
Low cost hybrid.
low cost, strong hybrid technology is what we want ultimately, so that the fuel consumption over a normal petrol car or diesel car goes up by some 30-35% better hybrid should give. That kind of hybrid if we get. Then I think hybrids will become 40-50% of the whole market. because the small cars can then become hybridized.
So that will be the
That's
scale.
the real secret to India. The small cars have to become hybrid. Making the big cars hybrid doesn't make any sense because we have 75%
So
cars
only a
which are low
small
cost.
portion will have. So we have also seen in the market shifting towards expensive cars. How do you look at the average ticket size in the last 5 years? What was it and now what it is now?
See,
And how do you look at it in the
partly
future?
the price of cars has gone up along with all prices going up, although car prices have gone up comparatively much less. But the appreciation of foreign currencies and inflation, all of that has driven up prices. But partly also the customer, and especially the young, upwardly mobile customer, he has become more and more, let's say, digitized. And in his car, he wants a lot of gadgets today, which are normally or which were normally found earlier in the more expensive big cars. But they are now coming into small cars. You will have small cars with airbags, ABS, and all things like digital rear view cameras and various kinds of sensors to indicate things and engine management systems and all that. Now, how do you get all that without adding to cost? So the customer in India wants all these things, but he wants it in a small car. So the price goes up, but it still remains a small car.
With all these new regulations coming up, ABS and airbags becoming mandatory, do you think that there will be a change in the market dynamics, like a small car to slightly upper range that will become a mass segment, or it will
No,
remain
I think
small?
the price will go up because of all these additions, but it doesn't mean the size of the car will go up.
So in the near future, with this 2017, ABS and airbags are going to be, how do you look at the price increase per vehicle? What would be?
I think every car manufacturer will pass on the cost of these add-ons.
What kind of increase you expect in terms of percentage, if you could say?
It depends on the car.
Okay,
So it's not possible to have one fixed percent because if it's a more expensive car, the impact will be less. If it's the low-end car, the impact will be more.
okay, smaller car will become further costlier.
Sure.
This is what you're saying.
The amount will go up the same
That
in all
will be
cases,
substantial.
largely the same.
Yeah.
But the percentage increase will different,
Yeah, for smaller car it will be higher.
higher percentage increase.
So don't you think it will impact the market dynamics?
I think so. I think the move to in doing this for smaller cars is premature
Okay.
because we should also look at the safety of the two-wheeler owner. The two-wheeler is a far less safe means of transportation than a four-wheeler is. And as a policy of safety, there should be encouragement for two-wheeler owners to move up to a four-wheeler.
So this will further become
This will
difficult for.
work in the opposite direction. And in India today, 27% of car users only use seat belts. Just 27%. This is a WHO study.
So that's massive.
And
Impact.
if 27% use seat belts, the fitment of airbags, in case they have an accident, will actually be counterproductive. No, it's be counterproductive. It will cause more injuries because of the seat belt if you're not because of the airbag if you're not using a seat belt.
Then so you are not at the. You'll if it crash happens, you're not
That's
in the
right.
front.
You have
so
to have
that
a seat belt for the airbag.
So far, the government should try insist
seat belts
implement basic of safety. That's a very valid question you have asked. We see the cars like Brezza, which is not probably previously it was that people would buy Alto 800 or cars like this first time. But now first time buyers have moved up to like Brezza. They are buying
very
i20
few first-time
also.
car buyers buy the Brezza.
So,
Very
like,
few, because
Desire also your Swift.
Even in Desire,
Swift,
usually it's not the first-time buyer.
Okay.
The Alto is still the largest selling car in India.
Yeah, but it's sometimes toppled down by Swift.
Not yet.
Yeah,
Alto
in
has
some
remained,
months, some
Alto
months.
has remained on top.
Yeah, some months.
The other one, the Wagoner and others keep changing.
Yeah.
But the Alto has remained unchallenged.
Okay, so you think that way it will come?
Because that's
Continue?
the main entry level car. It's still the Alto. And now Alto has been supplemented by some other cars which have come into that same segment.
So Maruti has been known as low cost car producer, value for money, but now the car buyers' perception for cars when they go buying is changing. How Maruti is geared up, because you don't have much of presence in the high end cars, because that is very important to create a premium image. In the SUV space also up segment. So going from now onward, what kind of product portfolio we can expect from Maruti Suzuki?
See, we still remain value for money producers. And even people who buy cars like the Baleno or the Ciaz still find that for that type of car, it is the best value for money. We do not, at this point of time, have any car bigger than the Ciaz. That is our biggest car. We will remain at that level. But our image has changed a great deal because of the NEXA channel of distribution. It has given people that feeling that Maruti also can provide the kind of service which today's well-to-do middle-class people want. So it's not as if they look at Maruti as not being able to meet their aspirations. The Ciaz today sells in several months now, has been selling more than the Honda City.
Yeah, in many months. Yeah. So SUV is one of the happening place, and we see mostly compact SUV, but up segment is also growing. We have double-digit growth in this space. How Maruti is poised to cater that growing opportunity?
See, our product portfolio will cover these segments. Today we have covered only the compact SUV. But as we go along, we will also move with an SUV which is higher than the compact SUV.
Okay. So that will be coming?
That will come.
Okay. How long will it take for you?
I don't know exactly when it is scheduled for sale, but in the not too far in the future.
So that we see a lot of one product coming up disrupting the market, like the Quid. Your Forte entry level segment, they just had a very good success, and they do you see some kind of threat from products like this, and what is your answer to that?
No, you see, the market is expanding, and there is scope for everybody to come in, because we can't take care of the growing Indian market. Today the Indian market is only 3.5 million cars. But in another 10 years, I would imagine we'll be near maybe 10 million cars. Now, how do I take care of a 10 million car market on my own?
But do you think you will be able to, because so much of change happening, new players are coming up, cutting the market share, do you feel that you will be having the same level of market share like you have right now, 50%? Do you think you will be able to do that?
We are 47% roughly. And
in the car space, we are 50%.
In the near future at least, we will try and maintain that. I can't predict what will happen in the further future, but at least in the near future, we intend and hope to maintain our share of the market.
So, policy takes a lot of important space when it comes to planning for your company or for the economy. How do you look at GST in the current format? Because there has been a lot of changes made. Do you think the expectation industry had from GST, it will be able to meet that expectation? First. Secondly, how do you look at GST? Do you think it should be planned in a way that we have right now for different different types of car, different tax slabs, or you expect to have a single slab plus cess and all for the bigger car? What will be the ideal way?
See, the rates of the slabs of GST have been announced, but what product goes into what slab has not been announced. And that is something which still the Council of the GST Council has to work out. I don't think that all cars will come under one common GST rate, because even today there are two rates for cars, or three actually. So I think they will maintain a differential. The basic rate may remain what is proposed at 28%. But the government also has said their policy is that because of GST, the existing price structure should not be disturbed in any significant manner.
Okay. So do you think this will be a major, step towards propelling the automobile market towards heavy growth? I'm not talking about,
See,
because the
GST
industry was quite hopeful when it first,
GST by itself will not propel any industry.
because it will ease,
But there is ease of doing business.
so that will.
But what is again more important is that GST has many other benefits which will help the entire economy to grow.
So that will ultimately.
And if the economy grows, then all industries will benefit. So directly, if I am to say that GST will suddenly make my sales grow by 5%, 10%, they will go up faster, no. But I think GST with its effect overall, including better compliance of tax systems, better tax revenues for government, therefore better infrastructure spending, I think that will lead to a faster economic growth with all its benefits.
Now there's huge leap happening in terms of technology, BS6 going to come in. Do you think the Indian supplier community is really ready for this? And if they are not, what they should do? How the landscape can change?
See, the Indian component industry still has some distance to go if they are going to be classified. I'm talking industry as whole, there are exceptions. If they're going to be classified as a world-class component industry. And that means that each one of them has to look at the quality of their equipment, the maintenance systems, the quality of manpower, the training of manpower, their testing systems. All of those have to be seen that they should be of absolutely top class. It's no point getting good equipment and then not having proper people to run it. This whole business of using contract workers. Contract workers can't lead to consistent quality. People keep changing, and if we keep changing people, you can't get good quality.
So who is going to do the hand holding for them, and how?
I think market pressures will make people do it.
So you just raised the issue of contract workers. There has been a lot of issue around it, with Maruti and other component manufacturers, especially in Manesar belt, Gurgaon Manesar belt. How are we not able to move up in this direction? Because we still continue to have a larger share of contract worker. What is the hinge?
See, one is the industry needs flexibility in its labor. Flexibility because there are seasonal fluctuations in demand, there are fluctuations when the economic cycle changes. Sometimes, like happened when the petrol, diesel prices changed substantially, then that impacted. So how to deal with those? If people didn't have contract workers, then they can't deal with that situation because our laws don't have any provision for temporary workers, where workers first join as temporary workers and then they gradually all become. There's no provision in the law for that. And therefore people go in for contract workers. What has happened in many cases is that the percentage of contract workers has gone way beyond what it should be for the needs of flexibility. And people have done that because some people think it's easier to manage the labor that way, otherwise union labor becomes very difficult to do, or that it helps them keep their cost and flexibility of operations higher. So it continues. Some amount of misuse is happening. So all of that needs to be re-looked at. And the labor laws should recognize the realities of industrial production. And one of the realities to understand also is that labor and management today are not adversaries. The labor's interest actually lies in the success of their company. Because if the company doesn't succeed, if the company doesn't remain profitable and competitive, they'll lose their jobs because there is nobody to protect them now. So their interest actually is greater than even of the officers and the engineers.
So coming back to your sir LCV initiative that you Maruti Suzuki was going to take,
Yeah.
we do not see much happening. What is the plan in that direction, sir?
No,
After
as
Gary,
we had announced, these commercial vehicles have been launched almost like a pilot project because we are not commercial vehicle manufacturers. We want to learn how to market and service commercial vehicles. Till we can do that, we don't think we should go in a big way for commercial vehicle production.
long term you have plan to expand
Long term
this
we will
space?
go
How many
because we
product you
do
expect?
think that this type of commercial vehicle has a big future because especially if in terms of environment, if entry of all bigger commercial vehicles is banned or even diesel vehicles is banned from cities, then these petrol commercial vehicles of 1 ton can be used to transship goods from outside the city into the city. And I think long term this business will grow. So
How many more product we can expect in this space?
No, that's the type of product we have. Petrol commercial vehicles now. I think that may be the future.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time with ET Auto.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure talking to you. Thanks.